The Great Hall of the Dominion High Command was built to make visitors feel small. Its ceiling rose so high that clouds sometimes formed near the top. Its walls were covered with the flags of 10,000 conquered worlds. For 3,000 years, no enemy had ever stood in this hall as anything but a prisoner. Admiral sat on his command throne and watched the holographic display floating before him. 7 red dots blinked on the map. 7 scout ships, all silent, all missing. Equipment failure, he said to his officers. Send a repair team. The officers nodded. They had learned long ago not to disagree with Admiral. He had commanded the Dominion fleet for 200 years. He had never lost a battle. He had never been wrong. But today, someone would dare to question him. The doors of the great hall opened with a heavy sound. A small figure walked in, carrying a data tablet pressed against her chest. She was scholar, keeper of the ancient records. Her species had been conquered 800 years ago. Now they served the Dominion as historians and researchers. They were considered harmless. He walked to the center of the hall and bowed low. "Admiral," she said, "I must speak with you about the missing ships." He did not look at her. "The matter is closed. Equipment failure." "Admiral, I do not believe it was equipment failure." The hall went silent. Officers turned to stare at the small scholar, who had just contradicted the most powerful military commander in the galaxy. Slowly turned his head, his 4 eyes focused on with cold anger. "Oh, explain yourself," he said. Activated her data tablet. A holographic image appeared in the air. It showed a planet covered in ruins. "This is Prime," said. 200 years ago, they were one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. They had technology that we still do not understand. They had a fleet of over 50,000 warships. They controlled 200 star systems." Waved his hand dismissively. "I know, though, they are extinct. Their civilization collapsed. It happens." "No, Admiral, their civilization did not collapse. Changed the image. Now it showed text in an alien language. I found this in the deepest archives. It is the final transmission from Prime, their last message before they disappeared. What does it say? And took a deep breath. It says, the humans are approaching. The laughter filled the hall. Officers pointed at the scholar and mocked her. Himself smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "Oh, humans," he said, "you waste my time with humans." He stood from his throne and walked toward. He was 3 times her height. His shadow covered her completely. "Humans are nothing," he said. "They are a minor species. They live on a single planet in an unimportant system. They have short lives. They are weak. They are prey." Did not step back. Her hands shook, but her voice remained steady. The thought the same thing, Admiral. They sent a war fleet to human space. None of their ships returned. They sent a larger fleet. Same result. Then the humans came to them. She changed the image again. This time it showed recordings from security systems. Ships burning, cities on fire, soldiers running in fear. The humans did not just defeat the said. They erased them. Every ship, every colony, every station. In less than 1 year, a civilization that had existed for 10,000 years was gone. No survivors, no refugees, just empty worlds and one final warning. The laughter stopped. The officers looked at each other nervously. Grabbed tablet and studied the recordings. His eyes narrowed. "This proves nothing," he said. "The recordings are old. They could be fake." Then how do you explain Scout Fleet 7, Admiral?" Before could answer. An alarm sounded. A young officer ran to the communication station and activated the emergency channel. "Admiral, we have received a transmission from Scout Fleet 7. Put it on the main display." The holographic map disappeared. In its place, a recording began to play. It showed the bridge of a Dominion scout ship. Through the windows, the stars of an unfamiliar system glittered. The Dominion commander stood at his station, looking confident. Unknown vessel, This is commander of the Galactic Dominion. You have entered restricted space. Surrender your ship and prepare to be boarded. The view changed to show the human ship. It was small compared to the Dominion fleet. Just one ship against 17. It should have been an easy victory. A human woman appeared on the communication screen. She had dark hair and calm eyes. She wore a simple uniform with a name tag that read Captain Park. Commander, she said. Her voice was soft and polite. I am offering you one chance to leave this system. Take your ships and go. Do not return. Commander laughed. You dare threaten the Dominion. We have conquered 1,000 species. We have burned 1,000,000 worlds. You are one ship. Captain Park nodded slowly. Yes, I am one ship, and I am giving you one chance. You have 5 minutes to decide. I do not need 5 minutes. All ships open fire. The Dominion fleet launched their weapons. Missiles and energy beams raced toward the human vessel. None of them hit. The human ship moved in ways that should have been impossible. It twisted and spun and danced between the attacks like they were nothing. Then it fired back. A single shot. The first Dominion ship exploded. Another shot. Another explosion. Commander screamed orders. His ships tried to retreat. The human vessel followed them, destroying one after another with perfect accuracy. In the recording, Commander turned to his crew. His face was pale with fear. What are they? He whispered. The human ship appeared outside his window. For a moment, Captain Park's face filled the screen. We are humans, she said, and we remember what you did. The recording ended in static. The great hall was silent. Officers stared at the empty display with wide eyes. Some of them trembled. Admiral stood completely still. For the first time in 200 years, something cold moved through his chest. It took him a moment to recognize it. The fear. He turned to his officers. Mobilize the Third Armada, he commanded. 200 warships, full combat readiness. Admiral said quietly, "I do not think that will be enough." Grabbed her by the arm and pulled her close. "Then I will send 500 ships, 1,000, 10,000. I will burn their planet and scatter their ashes across the void." He pushed her away. "The Dominion does not run from prey." Picked up her tablet and walked toward the door. She stopped and looked back at the Admiral. "They said the same thing," she said. "Now they are dust." She left the hall. Watched her go. Then he turned back to the empty display where Captain Park's face had been. "One ship," he muttered. "One ship destroyed 17 of mine." He clenched his fists. "I will find you, human, and I will make you pay." Far away, across the cold darkness of space, Captain Park stood on the bridge of the horizon. She looked at the stars and waited. The system had 3 suns and 7 planets. It was empty. No life. No colonies. No value. The perfect place for a meeting that would change the galaxy forever. Captain Park stood on the bridge of the UES horizon and watched her crew work. They moved with quiet efficiency. No panic. No fear. They had trained for this moment for 12 years. Lieutenant Menu checked the weapons display for the 10th time. Every missile was ready. Every cannon was charged. He looked at his captain with steady eyes. "They are coming," he said. "Long-range sensors show 212 ships, heavy cruisers, battle carriers, destroyers." He nodded. "Time to arrival. 20 minutes." Doctor stepped onto the bridge. She was the ship's doctor and scientist. Her job was to keep the crew healthy and to study alien life. Today, she would have plenty of aliens to study. "Captain," she said, "are we really going to fight 200 ships alone?" Smiled. "Who said we were alone?" Before could ask what she meant. The communication officer called out, "Captain, the Dominion fleet is dropping out of hyperspace." The view screen flickered. Stars twisted and bent. Then, like monsters rising from the deep ocean, the Dominion warships appeared. They were massive. The smallest ship was 10 times the size of the horizon. The largest, Admiral's flagship, was so big that it blocked out one of the system's suns. I counted them calmly. 212 ships, just as Minu had said. The communication system crackled. Admiral's face appeared on the screen. He looked at with hatred in his 4 eyes. Human, he said, you destroyed 17 of my ships. You killed hundreds of my soldiers. For this crime you will die slowly. She tilted her head. Admiral, I was hoping we could talk. Talk, laughed. There is nothing to talk about. You will surrender your ship. You will give me the location of your home world, and you will watch as I execute your crew one by one. I see. His voice remained calm. And if I refuse, then I will destroy your tiny ship and find Earth myself. It makes no difference to me. Looked at her crew. Minu's hand rested on the weapon's control, gripped the edge of her console. Engineer, listening from the engine room, whispered a prayer. Admiral said, I am going to give you the same offer I gave Commander. Leave this system. Go home. Do not return. This laughter filled the bridge. Behind him, his officers joined in. One ship said, one small ship threatens 200. Your species is not just weak. You are insane. Perhaps. Checked the time display. 15 minutes had passed since the Dominion arrived. But I suggest you look behind that moon. He frowned. He turned to his sensors officer and barked an order. The officer's face went pale. Admiral, there are ships behind the moon. Human ships. How many? The officer's voice shook. 47, Admiral, no. Wait, more are appearing. 53, 61, 74. It turned back to the screen, was no longer smiling. We have been watching you for 12 years, Admiral. We know how you fight. We know your weapons. We know your tactics. We know everything about you. She leaned forward. You thought we were prey. You thought we were weak. You attacked our colony ship 12 years ago. 4,000 civilians, families, children. You killed them all and did not even remember. Her voice dropped to a whisper. We remember. The human fleet emerged from behind the moon. 74 ships moved in perfect formation. They were smaller than Dominion vessels, but they moved like nothing had ever seen. Fast, silent, deadly. And tried to hide his fear. You still do not outnumber us. Your fleet is less than half our size. Numbers do not matter, Admiral. Will matters, training matters, and something else matters very much. What? We have nothing to lose. Slammed his fist on his throne. All ships, battle formation, destroy the humans. The Dominion fleet spread out across space. Cannons powered up. Missiles locked on targets. 200 warships prepared to fire. The human fleet did not move. Captain Minu said quietly, "They are targeting us." "I know." "Should we take evasive action?" "No." Screamed his order. "Fire." 200 ships launched their weapons at once. The sky lit up with 1,000 missiles and 10,000 energy beams. Enough firepower to destroy a planet. Then the humans moved. It was like watching water flow around stones. The human ships scattered and reformed, twisted and turned, danced through the storm of fire without being touched. Their movements were so fast, so precise, that Dominion targeting systems could not track them. "How are they doing that?" demanded. No one could answer. The human counterattack began. The Horizon led the charge. Ship dove straight toward the Dominion flagship, firing as it flew. 3 Dominion cruisers exploded before they could react. Lieutenant Minu's hands moved across the weapons console like a musician playing an instrument. Each shot found its target. Each target died. Enemy destroyer bearing 315, destroyed. Cruiser bearing 270, destroyed. Battle carrier bearing. I can see them, Minu. His voice was calm. Focus on the flagship. Around them, the rest of the human fleet tore through the Dominion formation. Ships that had conquered 1,000 worlds burned like paper in a fire. On the Dominion flagship, chaos ruled. Officers screamed reports. Alarms filled the air. Damage warnings flashed on every screen. A scholar stood in the corner of the bridge, watching. She had asked to observe the battle. Now she wished she had stayed in her quarters. A human ship flew past the flagship's window. It destroyed 2 Dominion vessels without slowing down. Then it was gone. Admiral, an officer shouted, "We have lost 43 ships." Impossible. It has only been 10 minutes. 57 ships, Admiral. 62. Watched his fleet die. He had commanded thousands of battles. He had never seen anything like this. They are not fighting like soldiers, he whispered. They are fighting like demons. I spoke quietly. No, Admiral, they are fighting like humans. This is what they do. This is what they are. What do you mean? They are persistent predators. On their home world, they hunted by chasing their prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They never stop. They never give up. They just keep coming. She stared at her. "Oh, the humans are not attacking your fleet," said. "They are hunting it." Another explosion shook the flagship. The lights flickered. "Admiral, shields are failing. We must retreat." Looked at the battle display. Of his 212 ships, only 89 remained. As he watched, another 5 vanished from the screen. All ships, he commanded. His voice was hollow. Retreat, jump to hyperspace now. The surviving Dominion vessels fled. They scattered in all directions, desperate to escape. The human fleet did not pursue. On the bridge of the horizon, watched the enemy disappear. Minu stood beside her, breathing hard. "We won," he said. "Captain, we won." "This was not victory," replied. "This was a message." She looked at the debris field, where 123 Dominion ships had died. "Now they know what we can do. The real war begins tomorrow." Far away on the Dominion flagship, Admiral sat alone in his damaged bridge. His hands trembled. His officers were silent. He had one duty left. He activated the emergency broadcast to the Dominion. "This is Admiral," he said. "The Third Armada has been destroyed. The humans, the humans are approaching." He ended the transmission. Somewhere in the ruins of his pride, finally understood what had tried to tell him. The Dominion had awakened something terrible. The Dominion Council Chamber was the most sacred place in the Empire. Its walls were carved from stone taken from the first world the Dominion ever conquered. Its ceiling displayed the light of 1,000 captured suns. For 3,000 years, the Council had ruled the galaxy from this room. Today, the room smelled of fear. 12 council members sat around the great table. They were the most powerful beings in known space. They controlled armies. They commanded fleets. They decided which species lived and which species died. None of them had slept in 3 days. A scholar stood before them, her data tablet ready. Admiral sat in the corner, his uniform torn, his pride shattered. He had not spoken since his defeat. "Tell us about the humans," the High Counselor commanded. "Tell us everything." Bowed and activated her presentation. "Humans evolved on a world called Earth," she began. "It is a planet that should not produce intelligent life. The temperature swings from burning hot to freezing cold. The surface is covered with violent storms, earthquakes, and floods. Dangerous predators fill every environment." She showed images of Earth, mountains of fire, frozen wastelands, oceans full of monsters with hundreds of teeth. "By our standards, Earth is a death world. No other known species has survived such conditions. Humans did not just survive. They became the dominant life form." A counselor raised his hand. "How? They are physically weak. They have no claws, no armor, no venom." "They have something better," said. "They have endurance. Human bodies can operate for days without rest. They can survive injuries that would kill any other species. They heal from wounds that should be fatal. And most importantly, they work together." She changed the image to show human soldiers. Humans form bonds with each other that are nearly unbreakable. They call it loyalty. They call it friendship. They call it love. They will die for each other without hesitation. They will sacrifice everything for their group. The counselors shifted uncomfortably. But there is something worse, continued. Humans have perfect memory for enemies. If you hurt a human, they will remember. If you hurt someone a human loves, they will remember forever. They do not forgive. They do not forget. She displayed a timeline on the screen. 12 years ago, a Dominion patrol destroyed a human colony ship. 4,000 humans died. The Dominion classified it as routine expansion and forgot about it. The humans did not forget. Pointed to various dates on the timeline. For 12 years, humans have been preparing. They studied our technology. They analyzed our tactics. They built new weapons specifically designed to defeat us. Every ship in their fleet, every weapon, every strategy was created for one purpose: to destroy the Dominion. The High Counselor leaned forward. Why did we not know about this? Oh, because humans are patient, said. They waited until they were ready. They let us think they were weak. They let us ignore them. It was a trap, and we walked into it. An admiral finally spoke. His voice was rough and tired. I faced them. I saw them fight. They are not just soldiers. They are something else. Something we have never encountered. What do you mean? A counselor asked. They were not afraid, shook his head. We have conquered 1,000 species. All of them feared us. The humans looked at our fleet and saw nothing to fear. They knew they would win. They had no doubt. Nodded. Human military doctrine is based on a simple principle. They call it total commitment. When humans go to war, they do not fight to negotiate. They do not fight to gain territory. They fight to end the threat completely. She displayed a quote on the screen. This is from a human military manual. We do not seek war. We end it. The chamber was silent. What do they want? The High Counselor asked quietly. Pulled up a document. They have sent us terms. They want all conquered species freed. They want all Dominion military leaders to stand trial for crimes against sentient life. They want the Dominion to surrender completely. Impossible, a counselor shouted. We have ruled for 3,000 years. We do not surrender to prey. If we refuse, said calmly, they will continue their advance. They estimate they can reach thee in 2 months. Let them come, another counselor yelled. We have thousands of ships. We have billions of soldiers. We had thousands of ships said quietly. It did not matter. The counselors argued among themselves. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to negotiate. Some wanted to surrender. None of them could agree. While they argued, something was happening far from the on the human flagship Vanguard. Sergeant Lee prepared his Marines for ground operations. They were the best soldiers humanity had ever produced. Each one had trained for years. Each one had volunteered for this mission. Walked through the barracks checking his troops. They cleaned their weapons. They reviewed their targets. They wrote letters to families they might never see again. A young Marine named looked up as passed. Sergeant, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Why are we doing this? The Dominion killed our people 12 years ago. Wouldn't it be easier to just destroy them like they destroyed us? Sat down beside her. It would be easier, he admitted. But easier is not better. What do you mean? The Dominion rules through fear. They conquer and destroy. They make slaves of everyone they defeat. If we do the same thing, we become them. He frowned, but they deserve it. Maybe they do, but the slaves they keep do not deserve it. The children born under their rule do not deserve it. If we burn the Dominion, we burn innocent people too. He put his hand on her shoulder. We are better than them. We have to prove it. Not with words, with actions. On another deck, Doctor was treating wounded from the battle Most were human, but some were Dominion prisoners. She treated them all the same. A captured Dominion officer watched her work with confusion. Why do you help me? He asked. I am your enemy. I would have killed you. Looked at him with tired eyes. Because you are injured, because you need help, that is enough. But I am Dominion. We are conquerors. We show no mercy to our enemies. I know, said softly. That is why we must show mercy to you. The officer did not understand. He had served the Dominion for 50 years. He had never seen an enemy treat prisoners with kindness. He did not know what to do with this strange feeling in his chest. On the bridge of the Vanguard, Captain received a message from Earth Command. She read it twice, then called her officers together. The Dominion has 2 weeks to accept our terms, she announced. If they refuse, we advance to the core worlds. Do you think they will surrender? Minyu asked. She shook her head. No, they have ruled too long. They do not remember how to lose. Then we will teach them. Yes, looked at her crew. But remember why we fight. We are not here for revenge. We are not here for conquest. We are here to end a threat and free the oppressed. Never forget that. The 2 weeks passed. The Dominion Council sent their reply. It was short and simple. The Dominion does not surrender to prey. On the Vanguard, read the message to her crew. They have made their choice, she said. Now we make ours. She turned to the navigation officer. Set course for the Dominion core worlds. All ships prepare for advance. The human fleet moved. On the Dominion, Scholar stood at her window and watched the stars. Somewhere out there, humans were coming. She had warned the council. She had shown them the evidence. They had not listened. She began packing her belongings. She did not know where she would go, but she knew she could not stay here. Before she left, she activated her personal recorder. This is Scholar Final Entry. The Dominion has refused human terms. The war will continue. I have done everything I could. She paused. I hope the humans remember that not all of us are monsters. I hope they show mercy to those who deserve it. She turned off the recorder and walked into the night. The humans were approaching. The fortress world of was the greatest military stronghold in the galaxy. 12,000 orbital defense platforms circled the planet. 800 million soldiers waited on the surface. Underground bunkers could protect the population for 100 years. No enemy had ever taken. No enemy had ever tried. General stood in the command center and watched the approaching human fleet on his screens. He had fought for the Dominion for 300 years. He had conquered over 200 worlds. He was not afraid of the humans. "Let them come," he said to his officers. "We'll be their grave." The human fleet arrived on the 18th day of the war. Captain had divided her forces. Half attacked the orbital platforms. Half prepared for ground assault. General expected a long siege. The humans had other plans. Engineer had spent years studying Dominion shield technology. She had found a weakness, a specific frequency that could pass through the shields like they were not there. The first human missiles used this frequency. The orbital platforms, which had never been damaged before, exploded one after another. In the command center, General watched his defenses crumble. "How?" he whispered. "Our shields are perfect." "We're perfect," his officer corrected. "The humans found a way through." In 6 hours, 4,000 orbital platforms were destroyed. By the end of the first day, 8,000 were gone. By the third day, none remained. The ground assault began. Sergeant led the first wave of Marines. They dropped from orbit in armored pods, falling through fire and smoke to reach the surface. It was the most dangerous moment of any battle. Half the soldiers who tried this kind of landing usually died. All of Marines survived. They had trained for this. They had practiced in simulations thousands of times. Every movement was perfect. Every decision was correct. When their pods hit the ground, they were already fighting. The Dominion soldiers were not prepared for what they faced. Humans fought differently than any species the Dominion had conquered. They did not charge blindly. They did not retreat when injured. They worked together like parts of a single machine. As a squad moved through the capital city block by block, they cleared buildings. They secured intersections. They pushed forward without stopping. The sergeant, a Marine, called, "Enemy soldiers ahead." Looked through his scope. 20 Dominion troops were setting up a defensive position. Take your team around the left. Cover fire, everyone else with me. The attack lasted 40 seconds. The Dominion position fell. But what happened next surprised the Dominion survivors. Instead of killing the wounded enemy soldiers, the humans treated their injuries. They gave them water. They asked if they needed medical attention. A wounded Dominion officer stared at with confusion. "Why?" he asked. "Why do you not kill us? We are your enemies." They knelt beside him. "You were our enemies. Now you are prisoners. Prisoners have rights. They deserve care. But we would have killed you. We would have shown no mercy." "I know, stood. That is the difference between us." Word spread among the Dominion forces. The humans were terrifying in battle, but they did not murder prisoners. They did not torture the captured. They did not harm civilians. Some Dominion soldiers began to surrender instead of fighting to the death. General heard the reports and did not understand. In 300 years of war, he had never seen anything like this. Enemies were supposed to hate each other. Enemies were supposed to want destruction. "What are they planning?" he demanded. "What trick is this?" His officers had no answer. The battle lasted 18 days. At the end, 500 million Dominion soldiers had surrendered. The rest had fled or died. General himself was captured when human soldiers found his bunker. That was the one who took him prisoner. The general was the most famous warrior in the Dominion. He expected to be beaten. He expected to be humiliated. He expected death. And instead offered him a chair and a glass of water. "You are general," said. "You have conquered many worlds. You have killed millions of innocent people. straightened his back. I am a soldier. I did my duty. Yes, and now you will face trial for what you have done. Sat across from him. But you will receive a fair trial. You will have a chance to defend yourself. You will be treated with dignity. Why? Asked. It was the same question every Dominion prisoner asked. Because that is who we are, replied. We are not fighting to become new tyrants. We are fighting to end tyranny. Was silent for a long moment. I do not understand you humans, he finally said. You have power. You have victory. Why do you not use it for revenge? Because revenge does not end pain, said. It only creates more. On the other side of the galaxy, Admiral watched the fall from his new flagship. The Dominion Council had given him one last chance to prove himself. One last chance to stop the humans. He had a plan. If he could capture a human ship and its crew, perhaps he could find a weakness. Perhaps he could learn their secrets. Perhaps he could turn the war around. He chose his target carefully. The UES Horizon, Captain Park's ship, the vessel that had started everything, sent a fake distress signal to a system called Nexus Station, an old trading post abandoned after the war began. The signal claimed that Dominion prisoners were being held there, asking for rescue. It was a trap. Expected the humans to send a fleet. He had 300 ships waiting to ambush them. Instead, a single shuttle arrived. Captain Park came alone. She landed at Nexus Station and walked into the main hall. Dominion soldiers surrounded her immediately. They took her weapons. They put chains on her wrists. An admiral stepped out of the shadows, his 4 eyes gleaming with triumph. Captain Park, he said, we meet at last. Looked at him calmly. Admiral, I was hoping you would be here. You walked into my trap. You gave yourself up. Laughed. I expected more from the human who destroyed my fleet. I did not give myself up, Admiral. I came to deliver a message. As a smile faded. What message? I tilted her head. While you were busy capturing me, Lieutenant Menu took command of the fleet. Right now, 74 human ships are taking position around the Dominion. His blood ran cold. You are lying. Check your communications. An officer rushed to the console. His face went pale. Admiral, she is telling the truth. Human ships have surrounded They are demanding the Council's surrender. Turned back to, she was still calm, still patient. Oh, you used yourself as bait, he whispered. You let me capture you to distract me. Oh, yes. Why? Why would you risk your life for a distraction? She smiled. Because my life is not worth more than the lives of my crew. Because ending this war quickly will save millions of people. Because I trust my officers to finish what we started. She stepped closer to. The war is over, Admiral. You lost the moment you underestimated us. You lost the moment you forgot that we are not prey. Raised his hand to strike her. A voice stopped him. Admiral, do not. The scholar stepped forward. She had been watching from the corner of the room. If you harm her, the humans will destroy everything. Look at what they have done without using their full strength. Do you want to see what happens when you give them a reason for revenge? His hand trembled. Oh, what would you have me do? He asked. Surrender, admit defeat. I would have you survive, said. I would have you live long enough to understand what you have done wrong. She turned to Captain Park. I have studied your species for months. I know what you are capable of. But I also know that you do not want genocide. You do not want to become what we are. He nodded. Then let us end this. Let us end the killing. Let us build something better. Looked at his soldiers. They were tired. They were afraid. They had seen too many friends die. He looked at, standing in chains, completely unafraid. And he realized that was right. The war was over. It had been over for a long time. The throne room of the Dominion had stood for 3,000 years. Its walls were made of black stone taken from conquered worlds. Its ceiling showed the map of an empire that stretched across 10,000 star systems. The throne itself was carved from the bones of defeated kings. Today, that throne was empty. Captain Park walked into the throne room with her chains still on her wrists. Admiral walked beside her, his head low, his pride broken. Behind them came Scholar and a squad of human marines led by Sergeant. The Dominion Council waited inside. 12 beings who had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. They sat at their ancient table, surrounded by guards who no longer believed they could win. The High Counselor rose from his seat. "You bring our admiral in chains," he said. "You surround our with your ships. You have conquered our fortress worlds. What do you want, human?" They stopped in the center of the room. "I want what I have always wanted," she said. "Peace, justice, freedom for the species you have enslaved. And if we refuse, then my fleet will destroy your orbital defenses. My soldiers will land on your world. Your government will fall. It will take days, not weeks." The counselors shifted in their seats. They had spent their lives giving orders. They had never received them. "You could destroy us completely," the High Counselor said. "You have the power. Why do you not use it?" It was silent for a moment. Then she spoke. 12 years ago, your ships attacked a human colony vessel, the Star of Hope. 4,000 people, families traveling to a new home. Your commander did not ask questions. He did not offer them a chance to surrender. He simply opened fire. Her voice remained steady, but there was something heavy in her words. "I was supposed to be on that ship. My parents were on that ship. My little brother was on that ship. They died in the first minute of the attack. They never knew why." The throne room was silent. "For 12 years, I have thought about this moment. I have imagined standing before you. I have imagined ordering the destruction of your world. I have imagined watching your cities burn the way my family burned." She looked at the counselors one by one. "But that is not who I am. That is not who we are. If I destroy you out of revenge, I become what you are. I become a killer of innocence. I become a monster. She stepped forward. So instead, I offer you a choice. Surrender. Face trial for your crimes. Accept punishment for what you have done. And in return, your people will live. Your world will survive. Your children will have a future. The High Counselor laughed bitterly. You expect us to surrender, to face trial. We are the Dominion. We have never surrendered to anyone. Then today will be the first time. Admiral stepped forward. His officers stared at him in shock. I recommend surrender, he said. His voice was rough. I have fought the humans. I have seen what they can do. If we continue this war, we will die, all of us. Every ship, every soldier, every world. You are a coward, a counselor spat. You lost your fleet and now you want us to give up. I am not a coward, I am a realist. Turned to face the council. The humans have shown us something we never expected. Mercy. They defeat our soldiers and then heal their wounds. They conquer our worlds and then protect the civilians. They could burn us to ash, but they choose not to. He pointed at this woman came to Nexus Station alone. She let me capture her. She put herself in chains to end this war faster. What kind of enemy does that? What kind of species sacrifices everything not for conquest but for peace? A scholar spoke next. I have studied humans for months. They are not what we thought they were. They are not simple prey. They are not mindless warriors. They are something new. Something that could change the galaxy forever. She walked to the center of the room and stood beside. The Dominion has ruled through fear for 3,000 years. We have crushed every species we encountered. We have made slaves of billions. And what has it brought us? More enemies, more wars, more death. She looked at the council. The humans offer another way. Not conquest, but cooperation. Not fear, but respect. Not domination, but partnership. The High Counselor shook his head. You ask us to give up everything we have built. No, said. I ask you to build something better, The debate lasted for hours. Counselors argued. Some demanded continued war. Some pleaded for surrender. Guards whispered to each other, wondering what the future would hold. In the end, the vote was 7-5. The Dominion would surrender. The announcement was broadcast across the galaxy. Species that had been enslaved for centuries heard the news and wept with joy. Soldiers who had fought for generations put down their weapons. Ships that had spent years in battle returned home. The war was over. 1 year later, Doctor stood before the first session of the new Galactic Senate. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the great hall. Former slaves sat beside former masters. Old enemies faced each other across negotiating tables. Today, said, we begin a new chapter in galactic history. For thousands of years, this galaxy was ruled by fear. The strong dominated the weak. The powerful crushed the powerless. That era is over. She looked at the assembled representatives. Humanity did not cross the stars to build an empire. We did not fight a war to become new tyrants. We came because we believe in something better. We believe that all sentient beings deserve freedom. We believe that cooperation is stronger than conquest. We believe that the future should be built together. The Senate Hall erupted in applause. On a distant planet, far from the celebrations, a young alien girl walked through a refugee camp with her mother. They had escaped from a Dominion prison world 6 months ago. They were still learning what freedom meant. A human relief ship landed nearby. Soldiers and doctors emerged, carrying food and medicine. They smiled at the refugees. They asked how they could help. The girl watched with wide eyes. Mother, she asked, are the humans scary? Her mother looked at the soldiers handing out supplies. She looked at the doctors treating the sick. She looked at the workers building new homes. No, little one, she said. They are not scary. They are something rarer. They are kind. In the rebuilt Senate chambers, a memorial stood in the main hall. It listed the names of every human who had died in the war. At the top of the list were the passengers of the Star of Hope. 4,000 names. 4,000 people who would never see the future they had helped create. Captain Park visited the memorial often. She would stand before the list and read the names silently. Her parents, her brother, her friends. Lieutenant Minu found her there one evening. "Captain," he said, "the Senate is asking for you. They want to honor you for your service." She shook her head. "I do not want honors. I want people to remember why we fought. Not for glory, not for revenge, for something better." She touched her brother's name on the wall. He was 10 years old when he died. He wanted to be a pilot. He wanted to explore the stars. Minu stood beside her. "He would be proud of you, Captain." "I hope so." They walked out of the memorial together. Behind them, the list of names glowed softly in the evening light. A reminder of the price of war. A reminder of the value of peace. And carved into the base of the memorial, 4 words that had changed the galaxy forever. The humans are approaching. Once, those words had been a warning. Now they were a promise. A promise that wherever there was suffering, humans would come. A promise that wherever there was injustice, humans would fight. A promise that the galaxy would never again know the darkness of the Dominion, because the humans were approaching, and they brought hope with them. He just had not wanted to see it. And nothing would stop them now. And it was coming for them all. The Dominion was coming. Good.